Okay, in this topic, I'm going to go a little bit controversial. We're going to talk about cold calling. And I'm going to come out the gate saying this: cold calling is an absolute waste of your time. Whether you're an individual contributor, a sales professional, or you're a sales leader, or you're a company owner, or a CEO, or a managing partner, having your sales professionals pick up the phone and cold dial 50, 75, 100, 150 times a day is a waste of your time, your effort, your energy, and your money. Now, back in the day, back in the 80s maybe, that was an effective way to generate business. Is it effective today? Well, if you're defining effective as does it work? Well, it does work, but think about this for a second. Do you like people cold calling you? No, you don't. There's never a time when you do. And so your prospects or your potential customers don't like it. You're disrupting their day. You have no right to do that, even if you have the cure to cancer. There's a much better way to go about it, because here's the thing: whenever you cold call somebody out of the blue who's not actively looking for your service, you'll never establish yourself as a business equal. You become a supplicating salesperson. So if you're a sales professional and you're being forced to cold call, I get it, I understand. And I work with cold callers. I work with appointment setters, and sometimes it just has to be done. And if you're struggling with that, and you need a proven step-by-step, easy, simple formula, even a format for cold calling, reach out to me. Drop a comment below. Send me a direct message. I've left my email below here and my phone number that you can actually text me, and I will send you this proven cold calling script that's been forged and proven over the last 2 years with thousands of cold calls. So if you need one, I've got one, and I'm glad to give it to you free of charge. Just hit me up and I'll make that happen. But here's the thing, guys, there's a much better way to do this, and it's called personal marketing. And for a company, you could look at it as marketing to bring in warm leads, people who are already interested in what you have. Because let me break this down for you. I don't know if you're aware with this, but any industry at any given time in the marketplace basically is broken into 3 parts. You got 3% of the marketplace, or 3% of the market, who's actively seeking and looking and ready to buy. That's a very small percentage of the marketplace, but it's where everybody's competing. And when you're cold calling, you're hoping that you stumble across 3% of the market. What's the likelihood of that? Well, let's just do the math. If you're making 100 calls and you get lucky, how many people max are you going to run into that are actively seeking, looking, and ready to buy what you have to offer? 3%. Not very good odds in your favor. The next piece of the market is 67%. Now, these people aren't necessarily ready to buy right now, but they're in a mindset, or they're open to the possibility of making a purchase somewhere in the future, 30, 60, or 90 days. And they can be persuaded to have a conversation, and you can influence that behavior, maybe even speed it up if you have the right conversations. Again, it's that 67%. But the third piece of the market is 30%. And no matter how good you are, no matter when you get to them, whether you get to them or your competitor gets to them first, they're not going to buy no matter what you do, what your competitor does, or how good your product or service is. They're just out of market. It's never going to happen. So with that in mind, is cold calling effective? Well, if you define, like we said, effective as does it work? Yeah, it does 1% of the time, maybe 0.5% of the time. Depending on how good you are, you might get up to 3% of the time. And if you're just a beast, 5% of the time. But why work that hard? Why not have your ideal customer who's in buying mode, or who at least is open to what your product or service can do for them, raise their hand and say, hey, talk to me, I'm interested. By the way, here's another thing you need to realize. Nobody is ever going to be interested in your product, in your service, or in your solution. It's never going to happen. What are they interested in? 3 things. Number 1, what they want. Number 2, how they get it. And number 3, what their life or their business is going to look like once they get it. By the way, if you're new to my channel, or if you're new to see my videos, my name is Dwayne Hupp. I'm a 14-year sales professional who then went into business for himself. And for the last 14 years, I started 4 companies. One's a sales training brand, sales training performance coaching. The other one was a business consultancy. Another one was a full service training brand where I did employee training, and then one that doesn't seem to make sense to anybody who hears it was a student leadership brand, because that's where I came from back when I was in high school and college. But what I'm going to share with you right here, I used to start first that student leadership brand, and got the proof of concept and was able to deploy what I'm going to share with you in all those different brands. And it can make it so simple for you to find your ideal client, your ideal customer, and have them raise their hand and say, hey, I might be interested in what you have. Let's have a conversation in a way that we can lower their walls, intrigue them, get the trust up, go from a complete stranger to someone that they trust, so that when you do pick up the phone, if you choose to pick up the phone, they're like, oh, hey, Dwayne, wow, can't believe you're calling me. This is awesome. Yeah, let's have this conversation. As opposed to, what do you want? Who are you? I'm not interested. We're already taken care of. Do you know what I mean? Hey, listen, if I can be of service to you, run over to www. Nobody says www anymore. Go over to sellingwithinfluence.com and see the options there. I might be able to help you and or your team. Or shoot me a DM or drop a comment below here and let me know you need some help, and I'm glad to help you. But let me jump in here, because if you're cold calling right now, first of all, it's just a grind. You're working too hard, you're hustling. Now, if you're in a brand new position, a brand new role, if you're brand new to sales, you don't have many options, cold calling is gonna be the way to do it. So again, reach out to me, I can give you that script. But let's assume that you've been selling for a while. Or let's say that you're starting a new job and you're having to cold call to generate that momentum. Right? A cold call is a fleeting moment in time. Think about this for a second. You pick up the phone, you talk to somebody, they're not interested. Or they say, hey, send me some information, or whatever other version of that you find. If you can't leave something with them, if you cannot add value to them, if you cannot give them something that helps them get from where they are to where they want to be, it's like a puff of smoke. It's like it doesn't exist. But there's a better way to go about approaching your potential customer. Now, I'm going to break down what I've done and what you can do starting right now, whether you're an individual sales professional, whether you're a team lead or a sales leader or an owner of a company. You can deploy this to help your sales professionals get warm leads that they can call, build dialogue, and start a meaningful business conversation, and then convert them into business, warming them up so that they're ready to buy and they do trust you. But I want you to think about this for a second. How many times have you ever been on social media, whether it's Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or even YouTube, right? And you're scrolling, or you're looking, or you're searching, or you're minding your own business, and all of a sudden an ad pops up in front of you, and maybe you weren't looking for it, but they targeted you, and it's like, yeah, that's me. I'm interested or intrigued, or at least you file it away in your mind, and then you see it again, and then you see it again, and then you see it again. And then all of a sudden you go from who is this person or who is this company to, wow, that might be something that can help me. Well, at a very high level, that's what we're going to talk about right here. But think about this for a second. In today's world, and I'll tell you more about this as we go through this, it's very inexpensive to put yourself or your company in front of your ideal prospect if you know exactly how to do it. And once you've grabbed their attention, the ability to continue to put messages in front of them that help them has never been as affordable as it is today. Now, it's going to continue to rise in cost, but I've been doing this for the last 12 years, and it's still very reasonable as an individual to be able to take a little bit of money, do it the right way, and put myself in front of customers. Now, if you're thinking, well, I just don't have the money, or I just don't have the budget, hang tight. You'll be very intrigued by how simple and how affordable it can be. But let's think about this for a second. We talked about earlier that people are not interested in your product, your services, your solutions. They're interested in what they want, how they get there, and what their life or business is going to be like once they get there. So those are the things that we need to be talking to them about. And I'm going to show you here in this framework that I have for you exactly how to do that. So imagine for a second, let's start with a baseline of something we all know, love, and understand. A website, right? So if it's a company website, that's one thing. If it's a personal website that you build on your own to kind of represent yourself, I don't know if you know that's a possibility, but there's free services out there right now. For example, Wix.com. is the one I'm thinking of, because my student leadership brand is built on a free Wix website and still generates business for me, even though I don't pay for it. And then my Selling with Influence, sellingwithinfluence.com, I had it built on a free site, but then I needed to do some other things with it to target my ideal audience. So I went ahead and invested, very minimal investment. But this is something that if you're an individual contributor, you can put together for yourself, sometimes free of charge. And as a company, well, you probably have a website. But let's start with the concept of a website. If I can drive my ideal customer, well, let's call it traffic, to my website by emailing them, by cold calling them, by sending them something, by doing some social media posts, and I can draw them to that website, then I can have a piece of code. I'm not going to get deep in the weeds on this. You can look it up on YouTube. I can put a piece of code on that website that then I know that they showed up, and then I can start sending inexpensive, affordable ads to them where they see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different messages from me that take me from a complete stranger to a trusted expert in their eyes, that makes them go from I don't know this person to wow, this could be for me. But remembering that they're not interested in me or what I do, because it's never about me. It's about their outcome, what they want, how they get it, and what their life or business is going to be like once they get it, right? So imagine for a second the base and the landing spot that we're going to have here is a website, whether it's your company website or one that you created for yourself. Now I want to take that a step further and talk about a landing page and the difference between a website and a landing page. So you go to a website, and at the top of the website you have about us, you have the company, our services, and all kind of contact us and our phone number, all that kind of stuff. Well, it's very easy for your ideal customer to come to your website and get completely overwhelmed and completely lost, because there's nobody taking them by the hand and pulling them in and saying, what are you looking for? Let me show you how to find it. But the concept of a landing page, where they land on a page that you send them to or that you direct them to, and the only thing they can do on that page is absorb information that's beneficial to them and take an action that you offer or that you suggest that they take. That's the only thing they can do. And if they don't do that, they bounce and they're gone forever. That's actually the better outcome. And that's how I built the brands that I'm talking about. I do have websites so that people can go and look, and it gives me credibility and stuff like that. But where I really build my efforts and build my business and get my results is from a landing page. So that's where I'm going to jump off right there. And both of these sites, the website and the landing page, I can take a piece of code from my Google Analytics. I can take a piece of code from Facebook, and I can put it on there. And if somebody shows up that landing page or that website, then I know that, and I can retarget them with ads, and I'll develop that here. But let's imagine for a second that I did a social media post, right? And I said something, hey, do you face this challenge or this problem right here? Yeah, well, a lot of people do in your space, and the reason you're facing that challenge is X, Y, Z. But the good news is there's a way to overcome that challenge and get what you actually want. And in this free video, I'm going to show you how to do it. And on this page right here, I have all the details. I hope this served you, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you'd like more information about it, click that button below or fill out that form below, and I'll send you a PDF. I'll send you a case study. I'll send you some free training. It's how I would approach that. So let me back up where I started this to my student leadership brand. I created a page that had a video on it like this. I was direct to camera. And then below it, it kind of developed the benefit or the payoff that the person would get if they requested some free training that I did for them. And if they did, they ended up on my email list, which allowed me to continue to follow up with them. It was very basic and simple. Now, this is something that you can do as well. So imagine for a second that you just took out your phone. I don't have my phone with me, but you just took out your phone and you hit record, and you were able to create a message that resonated with your ideal customer to the point they'd be like, yeah, that's me. I'm having that problem. This sounds like something I'm interested in. And put it on a page that has a little bit of information below it and a simple button that says, hey, if you'd like more help with this, just click this button. I'll send this valuable resource over. Imagine that, because people, we all know this, people do not like to be sold to, even if they're in sales. But everybody likes to buy stuff, right? What's the difference? Something flips in their, a switch flips in their head, and they're like, I need this, I want this, this would be good for me, and then they take action, as opposed to somebody coming at them and them resisting. Anytime you step into a store or onto a car dealership or any place where there's goods and services being sold, the minute you walk in and somebody approaches and, hey, can I help you? You're like, nope, just looking. Well, doing this right here takes the resistance down, because they can hide behind their computer screen or behind their phone, and they can engage without any threat. And that gives you an awesome opportunity, because when their walls are down and their mind is open, you can give them a message that can potentially help them. And that's what I did with my student leadership brand. And just so you know, my student leadership brand, when I was in high school, I played the saxophone and I was in marching band, and I went on to get my degree in music performance, but I fell in love with student leadership and the marching band. So I was a 9-time student leader, a 6-time drum major. And so this student leadership brand I created, this first message right here, I was speaking to band directors. That was my ideal client. And I said, hey, here's my history, here's my background, here's my story, and I help student leaders develop, and I can help you, choose, develop, train, and prepare your student leaders to serve the band and help you throughout your marching band season. That's a rough idea, right? And I acknowledge I'm not a band director. I've never been a band director, but I was a student leader, 9-time student leader, 6-time drum major, and I come from a student leadership perspective. And if you'd be interested in having me train your leaders for absolutely free, I've prepared 3 videos that take them step by step, and all you need to do is put your information below on this form. I'll send those videos over to you, that's how simple it was, right? And what happened was, I think I ended up investing. Now, don't let this scare you, because I did this over time, but I want to show you the results for pennies, and it all paid for itself. I was able to take complete strangers who'd never heard of me and put a message in front of them that actually helped them. And as a result, their walls came down, their trust went up, and before I knew it, they were calling me up. They were filling and submitting forms saying, hey, Dwayne, I want to purchase your online course that you created, or hey, can you come speak to my students, or hey, we're doing this conference, can you come keynote and then do a thing for students? All because of what I'm sharing with you right here. So this first video and this first page is simply an introduction that says, hey, here's who I am. Do you have these challenges? If you have these challenges, there's a simple path to overcome these challenges. I'd like to help you free of charge, and here's the action I want you to take. Well, if they take that and they watch this video and you have a code on your website that shows that they were there, guess what? If they take that action, you have their email address, their phone number, their contact information. And it can be as simple as, hey, just pick up the phone and call us. We're willing to help. Or you can do many number of things. You can give them a PDF. You can give them a video. You can give them a checklist. You can give them a case study of one of your past clients. You can offer free training to help them get closer to the goal they want. And you can even do a survey to know exactly what's important to them. But give them a low barrier of entry, something very easy to do, something very simple to do, and make it so easy for them to do it. Now, in the future, I will do small workshops, mini workshops, virtually. And so if you'd like to be a part of one of those whenever I do it, make sure to hit me up and say, hey, Dwayne, I want to be invited to the next time you do a mini workshop. We cover all kinds of things, but I also cover this more in depth. But I can offer something free of charge that will help them and serve them. Now, let's assume for a second that they didn't take the action, but they did watch the video. I can track that too. And if they watch 25%, 50%, 75% of my video, I know that through the technology that we have. It's very simple to find on YouTube. Do not let this overwhelm you. Just keep with me at a high level. And if you need my help, just reach out to me and I can point you in the right direction. I really don't like to go too deep and nerd out over the stuff other than how it serves me, but I can point you in the right direction. I've had tons of training. I've spent thousands of dollars on training to understand what I know. And rather than try to dump it all on you, I can just point you in the right direction. So reach out to me if that's you. But imagine for a second they watched this first video. or if they came to the website and they took that action, now you can put another message in front of them. And we're going to do something that one of my mentors taught me. His name's Frank Kearney. He's wonderful. He calls it results in advance. He said there's 3 ways that we can influence people or get them to trust us in order to buy from us. He says we can tell them, number 1, we can tell them how good we are. But in today's world, nobody trusts anybody, so they think we're just doing that to, sell to them and take their money. So it doesn't often work when we tell them how awesome we are. He said, secondly, we can have video testimonials or LinkedIn recommendations or some form of written testimonial from other people saying how awesome we are. And a lot of people do that. It's called social proof. He said, but you don't even need that. He said, the best way to influence people and help them and prove that you can help them is by actually helping them. And he calls it results in advance. So imagine for a second, at the beginning of their journey, they're sad because they don't have the results they want. But the more you can lead them down this path towards where they want to be, their walls come down, their trust goes up, and the more they want to work with you. And that's exactly what we're doing in this process. So in the second video or piece of content that you put in front of them, you help them take one more step closer to where they want to be. And then because they watch that video, you'll know it, the data will show it, and you're able to retarget or remarket on social media to that person. And in the third video, you help them again. And in each one of these videos, you help them take another step, and you can do a light call to action. Hey, if this is helping you, pick up the phone, give me a call. Or hey, if you need my help, jump on my calendar, or whatever form of call to action that you want to do. But by the time they get to this 5th piece of content and they've seen all of this, you've gone from a complete stranger to a trusted advisor, and you're all they think about as far as someone who can help them solve their problem or get to their goal. Imagine not having to compete with your competitors because you pulled people into your world and you helped and served them better than anybody has, because everybody else that's your competitor is doing what? Pitching, presenting, coercing, trying to persuade, and absolutely not helping them. And that's where you have the advantage. Because you can take a complete stranger who's your ideal customer, put yourself or put your company in front of them for pennies. Because when you retarget people who have already taken an action or watched a video that you produced or a piece of content, the cost of getting to them goes way down, and we're talking pennies. So going back to my band leadership story, I think the first year that I actually started advertising, I want to say I spent a grand total I spent a grand total of $2,500. But as I was going through that, I also learned that if I made a small offer in my video, that it could kind of liquidate some of that cost. So I think when the math washed out, I probably spent $1,500. But my average sale coming from that was in the neighborhood of $2,500 to $3,000, sometimes $5,000. Anyway, from that $2,500 ad spend, I probably netted about $45,000 in business. So it's absolutely a wash. And the next year, I think I spent $3,500, but with that little sell that I did, upsell, I think it dropped it back down to like $1,500. Anyway, long story short, that is the only 2 years that I actually put an ad spend towards that market and built a list of over 3,000 people. So now I just continue to send that list value, make offers, offer to work with them. And so that money that I spent, gosh, it's probably been 8 years ago now, continues to generate money for me. And so the same can happen for your business, for your company, or for you as an individual sales rep. All you've got to do is help them get where they want to go. I'm just noticing I had to reshoot. I just had to reshoot, and I had to turn the light off. I'm sorry, I forgot to erase that. I'm human, right? And if I can do this, so can you, right? So I hope this makes sense. Instead of cold calling, that's where cold calling is an absolute waste of your time, and you need to get away from it as fast as you possibly can. And the better way to do it is to personally market. Oh, and here's another thing I want to say. Have you ever been watching a YouTube video, or you're looking up for something and you go to watch somebody that you know, like, or trust, or somebody's going to solve your problem, and all of a sudden, boom, an ad's in front of you? You can do the same thing. You could literally go to your competitor's ads or their YouTube or wherever they're advertising, and put yourself in front of that ad. So the minute that they go to search for your competition, you land there. Here's another trick. Here's another thing you can do. And if you want the details on this, shoot me a message and I'll send it over to you, because I learned it from one of my mentors. Imagine there's a conference going on, but you can't make it, right? So there's an industry conference that your company could benefit from being at, but for some reason you're not at it, or maybe you don't want to go. There's a way that you can isolate and target that main building and a mile around it during that conference, and just completely saturate it with you and your company, so that all those attendees who your ideal target will see you every time they look at their phone, even though you're not at the conference. Talk about a way to get in front of your market for pennies. And if you would like that, send me a message and I'll show you how to get it. But here's the bottom line. Is cold calling necessary? Sometimes it is, especially if you're starting a new career, if you're being demanded to do it. But you want to get away from that as fast as you possibly can, even if it means investing your own money. There's tons of information you can find about retargeting on Facebook, but I just wanted to put this on your radar. If you're cold calling and you hate it and you're grinding and you're not getting the results, how much easier would it be if you were reaching out to someone, helping them, serving them, their walls were coming down, their trust was going up, and they reached out to you and said, "Hey, Dwayne, I love what you're saying here. How can you help me?" And then you just pick up a phone and you schedule that Zoom meeting, or you go to see them, and they're almost sold already. All you have to do is help them buy. So here's the thing. I believe you can write your own ticket in sales. You just have to be willing to sell with influence. And influence starts with taking them from where they are to where they want to be, helping them get closer. And when they see that you can help them because you've actually helped them, you'll blow your competition out of the way, you'll make them irrelevant, and you'll dominate your marketplace and in your industry. So hey, if you're a business owner or a sales trainer, if you're a business owner or a sales leader and you need someone to help your salespeople close more sales on any level, I invite you to reach out to me. Run over to sellingwithinfluence.com or shoot me a message. All my information will be down here. But if you're an individual contributor and your company is forcing you to cold call, you don't even have to tell them you're doing this. You can fly under the radar stealth, but apply this. And if you need my help, reach out to me. I can help you. Stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel and you're watching it there, please do so. You can see videos when they come out. And if you'd like to be invited to one of the many virtual workshops, M-I-N-I, not M-A-N-Y, many workshops that I do, I'd love to have you there. Just reach out to me. They're free of charge, but you need an invitation because I need to be able to send you a link. So let me know, and let's talk soon. Bye-bye.